It's a good morning to all our viewers around the world. Welcome to Ishøj Cricket Club in Denmark, where we have the Nordic Women's Cup 2025 being played. Today's game is Sweden against Germany. And I want to welcome my co-commentator here. Good morning, Jess.
It's great to be here, Mo. Wonderful to join you on such a beautiful, sunny morning here just outside of Copenhagen. Man, is it gorgeous this morning. This is easily the warmest day that we've had. Sun's streaming in. I had to get the sunscreen on nice and early. It's going to be an exciting day. 2 tough games here at Ishøj.
Yes, definitely. Good day. Clear blue skies. Nice and sunny. There's a little bit of dew on the outfield. We are having an early start today to ensure that we have all the games done and all the visiting teams are able to depart, in a timely manner.
Yeah, no one wants to miss their flight like I did this morning when I missed my bus. But more about that soon, because I'm not yet done complaining about that. But it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. It's Germany who won the toss, and even with that dew on the outfield, have decided to bat first, backing themselves to rack up a big score here against Sweden. I'm sure they have net run rate in mind as they go into the last day of this tournament. This is a table-topping encounter to start the day. Very key game. The Swedish side, well, they just need to win. If they can knock off Germany, they have to play Finland later on today, but if they can knock off Germany, they will go an awful long way to winning this Nordic T20 for 2025. So here we go, first ball of the morning. Interesting tactics from the bowler, coming around the wicket to the right-hander to begin the day. I'm sure that the Swedes have been watching the stream and going over the video, coming up with plans for these batters. That one's into the legs and worked into the onside. This time the fielding is very sharp there at mid-wicket and prevents the Germans from getting underway. Garcia has been having a good time with the bat of late. Good pace, forced through the offside. She's made excellent use of the extra pace from the bowler to push it down towards the far corner of the ground. Even though it's slowed up towards the rope, really good running between the Germans. It's been a hallmark of their game throughout this tournament. And they are back for 3. Yes, Garcia scoring runs in the World Cup qualifier in the Netherlands just a couple of weeks. Over the last couple of weeks, the Germans travelling directly from that tournament to this one here in Denmark. So they've had plenty of cricket under their belts. Really good pace there going across the batter. But Garcia scoring runs in the Netherlands and then scoring runs in this tournament. Picked up a 50 in the first game. Fired in on the pads. An appeal, but it's going to be hard to give from going around the wicket like that. It's a shy at the stumps at the bowler's end, but the batter got home. This is my first time seeing Zahra Mohammed bowling in this tournament. She's easily the quickest I've seen so far. She's got some wheels. Bit of chat there, but too much chat. We've seen this repeatedly throughout the tournament. The umpire's stopping play because there's too much talk while the bowler is running in. Forced into the offside, but the fielders are in quickly. No chance of a single. So the end of the first over, a good one from Zahra Mohammed. Showing some wheels. I'm not sure I'm completely on board with her bowling around the wicket. I'm sure it's a tactic. But I would rather see her screaming in, bowling that pace and coming over the wicket, trying to clip the top of that off stump, I think. If there's a little bit of nibble out there, in or away, with that little bit of extra pace, there's a chance of the outside edge or keeping the pads and stumps in place. So we'll have to see if she changes tactics in the next over. Meanwhile, from down here at the comm box end, Anya Villeda. And I have said that wrong. She did give me the phonetic pronunciation of her name. I still said it wrong. Here comes Anya. Angling in to the hip. Worked away, and they will run through for a very well judged single. Just making sure of her bowling mark a second time. Not happy with that first delivery and resets herself. Garcia takes strike again. Into the pads. Very unlikely appeal, and that'll go away for a leg by. One of the issues with the dew on the outfield, of course, is that you have to wear rubber shoes. There's no steel spikes. Can't use those when you're playing on AstroTurf. And when there's a little bit of moisture on the outfield, you do carry it forward onto the Astro. And that's well down. Leg side for a wide. So what can happen is you carry that moisture off the outfield and onto the Astro, is that the Astro can become a little slick, especially for the fast bowlers, and more particularly where the lines are painted on the turf. It's just like riding your bike on a wet day. Don't try to ride on the paint. It gets a little bit slippery. This is exactly the same. Huge lifter there, getting plenty of bounce out of the deck. Again, we've seen that all throughout this tournament. There's plenty of bounce in this surface. But that one really flew up off a length. This one again down the leg side, so she hasn't quite got her radar. Trudging back to her mark, thinking things through, reassessing where she's landing and angling that ball. She'll be trying to tuck up the Germans, keep it tight into the stumps. Target the top of off. It's just getting away on her. That's a better delivery, and she does find the outside edge, but there's no slip in place, and it's running down towards the boundary there at the football end of the ground. They've turned to run, and it's going to be a run out. Oh, dear me. That was an unnecessary risk from the Germans. A little bit of a misunderstanding. Cost them a metre, and it's cost them a wicket.
It's so key to have good communication in the middle, you know, loud calls.
Well, Garcia's out there doing a full teapot. She's not happy.
That was, as you said, Jess, unnecessary wicket. No need to go for that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look on the replay and see exactly what happened. Yeah, it's the issue and the reason for the teapot. I was watching the fielder and not the batters. So she has in fact run herself out, the wicket-keeper. And I'm sure she'll be disappointed. She's trying to do her best for the team. And we're going to see a change of angle from Anya. She's going to come around the wicket as well. And it's now well down leg side. I'm not completely on board with this round the wicket approach from either of the opening bowlers. I do think it's better to attack over the wicket early, especially when the ball is new. Unless they've seen something that I have not seen from the German batters that they're trying to target. Oh, it's stay over the wicket. Angled into the body. In the air. Catchable height, but she got it out of the middle, and she's hit it hard enough to beat the dew. So run down towards the gymnasium here at Ishøj. And if you've not heard me waxing lyrical over the past few games, I can tell you it is a wonderful facility. Many, many sports being played in there. This morning it is women's volleyball. A few of the women's volleyball players yesterday taking a chance to step out from the gymnasium to watch some of the cricket with great interest. I thought that was cool. You know, Denmark, wouldn't be a bad idea to, if those girls are showing interest in the game, they're natural athletes, to perhaps offer them the opportunity to come down to the nets and give it a go. There's a few German girls returning from the nets just down by us, and they've crossed in front of the sight screen, the umpire waving them away. Again, out of the middle of the bat, wonderful pull shot. That's going to go out through mid-wicket. Right out of the screws. So, 2 consecutive boundaries. Really lovely way to start your innings, isn't it?
Yeah, getting quite well in line of the ball. You don't need a bowl shot there to the batter, and rightfully dispatched her for the boundary.
Yeah, we didn't get to see her have a bat yesterday, Shravya Kolcharam, but she's come out all guns blazing. And again, well, it's just sitting up on that hip, and she is making the absolute most of it. The batter's there looking for 3, but Garcia adamant that they stayed at 2 this time. But yes, looking down towards the gymnasium right now, I can see more volleyball players actually just poking their heads out from inside the gym to have a look at the cricket. But yes, a wonderful facility in Ishøj here. Football, tennis, karate, petanque, badminton. I've seen all sorts of stuff here over the course of the last couple of days, and of course this wonderful cricket facility, beautifully maintained outfield, really good setup with the nets here.
So that was the end of the second over. Germany at 23 for 1. They're quite well off on their way. Just that wicket that fell in the last over, quite unnecessary, but that's just how key communication is in the middle.
I don't think it'll worry Germany too much. They certainly bat deep. Really good pace again. Zahra Mohammed. It's just a trundle. It's just a simple trundle up to the wicket, and then that shoulder comes through and that wrist. And she's all power from that point forward. Really gives it a rip. Bang. So, full toss comes down to fine leg, where the fielder has made a meal of it. The coaches won't be happy. Like we've seen all this week, there's been a huge emphasis by the coaches on the fielding for these sides, making sure that they are properly prepared and warmed up before they go out on the park. The Germans in particular have had some very serious and stern warm-ups, as professional as you would see anywhere. But a minor slip there from the Swedes, and that has cost them 4. or 3. Good pace, pushed into the offside. No run.
Just a quick update on the other game that's happening in Albertslund this morning, where Norway play host Denmark. Norway are 17 for 1 in their 4th over.
We should talk a little bit more about the permutations for Denmark. They absolutely have to win that game against Norway.
Definitely.
Because Denmark will be here later this afternoon to play Germany. And assuming that Germany defeats Sweden, which is what the Danes will be hoping for, I think, then they will still be in the running to defend their title on their home turf. However, if Sweden get up over the Germans, that will pretty much take this tournament out of Danish hands.
That was a single on that ball.
And the reason that we're in this position is because Sweden came back. I think I was talking to one of the Danish coaches. He said they had Sweden 35 for 5 and they fought back to score 95 and then managed to defend it with Denmark coming up short. So in a game that the Danes absolutely should have won against Sweden, they hit the banana peel. And now they're going to have to deal with the consequences, which is that it's not entirely in their own hands. And they're relying on some other results to go their way. That's not the case in this game, though. This is playing for all the cards in the deck. Sweden win this one, and they will be almost a shoo-in for the title.
This innings here at the moment, it's looking to be another big total on the scoreboard. Germany is scoring quite well in these first couple of overs, scoring at a rate of 10, 11 runs. So we're looking at a high score of around 200 at this point, projected score.
I mean, if they wanted to stamp their authority on this competition, scoring 200 today against one of the top flight sides in Sweden would definitely do it.
So that's the end of the 3rd over. Germany 33 for 1.
Does look like we are going to get a change down here at the pavilion end.
There's actually 10 runs coming off that last over. But good stuff with Kolcharam and Garcia, 12 runs apiece.
Again, that just sits up into the hip and helped over the leg side. They'll be looking for 3. The throw comes in. It's not a strong throw. I'm sure the Germans will be keeping an eye on which fielders have the good arms and start to pick the opposition apart. It does look like it's Jayasuriya who's come on down here at the pavilion end. I asked her how she got into cricket. She just said, I'm Sri Lankan. Great shot through the offside. Brilliant cut shot, in fact, and that's running out towards the boundary. It is slowing up towards the rope, but it's gone the whole way. So another boundary for Germany. And Sweden have some questions to answer all of a sudden, because I don't think they've got their length quite right.
Exactly, and when you give a little bit of width and the batters are quite strong in that space, it's only going to get them more runs on the board.
That's a better delivery. Full into the block hole and forced back to the bowler. Pushed into the offside. The fielder does well to get down and stop a skiddy ball from getting past there. That one's well down the leg side. The batter has not been able to catch up with it. It'll still go on the board. Into the leg side, a top edge. So not totally in control, but it's gone into a gap and it's running down towards the boundary in front of the gymnasium. It won't go the whole way, as we've seen throughout this tournament, especially down that far end of the ground. And while it's wet, the outfield does tend to slow up. Not the case here at the pavilion end, where the grass is a bit barer and a bit browner. So if you hit straight down the ground, you do get value for your shots. Struck on the pad. It's a big shout. Jayasuriya stamps her feet in disapproval. She doesn't agree with the umpire. And she takes her hat in half. She believes she was in with a really good shout there.
Umpire Manip turning that appeal down. Clearly going down leg.
I got to ask some of the players about their proudest moments in cricket. Several of the Swedish players said the same thing, celebrating their win over Jersey. It was a really good win for Sweden. Change in bowling at the football end, but it's swung wide. This is Kanchan Rana. She's got a good action. She's quickly adjusted to find her line and length. That is chipped into the offside, where it is taken easily. Just did not get that out of the middle of the bat. Chipped in the air. Down to the player there at mid-off, who made no mistake. And Germany lose their second wicket.
I believe that catch was taken by Reshmi.
So the new batter coming out to the middle, picked up a well-deserved Player of the Match award yesterday. Picked up 5 for 7 and scored 30 not out in the same game. Very pleased to pick up that award, Janet Ronalds. Hello again to her daughter, Caitlin, watching at home. Little fiddle outside off stump, and that's a really good line and length from Rana. As that one is angled in towards the top of off. That one is full and through to the keeper. She really bent her back and dug that one into the pitch. Cut away by Ronalds, but stopped there at point. Looks like it was Yusuf who got in the way of that one. And that brings us to the end of another over. A successful one for the Swedes.
It's the end of 5 overs. Germany are 45 for 2. And that was indeed a good over. Just the one wide coming off there from Kanchan Rana. And a wicket there as well.
So it's Jayasuriya who's going to continue. She plays for Gothenburg back in Sweden.
Update from Albertslund, where Norway are playing host Denmark. Norway are 25 for 2. Second wicket has fallen now as a run out.
This is down the leg side again and helped around the corner rather well by Garcia. Have to wait and see if it holds up in that soggy patch down towards the gymnasium, and it does. Ronalds pushing Garcia for 3, and they get back comfortably. Good running from Ronalds.
Indeed. I believe this is the second 3-1 effort that the Germans have made. It's always good to see the batters in the middle pushing and putting pressure on the fielders.
Yes, the Germans have been the masters of it at this tournament. Cut away behind square by Ronalds. This won't go to the rope. It's being tracked down out there, and she's running back hard for 2. Not the cleanest of throws coming back from down there. So no drama. It's a bit of a mix in terms of the quality of throwing from this Swedish side. There's some good arms, and there's some that still need a little work. This one worked off the pads into the leg side, and they will get 1. Ishøj at the bowler's end. Ronalds was not paying attention to that. So, umpire resetting the stumps. Jayasuriya this time getting it online. Back of a length on off stump. And Garcia could only push it into the offside. This time again onto the pads, and this is easy runs for Germany. Absolute gifts every time she strays into that leg side. Once again, down leg side, and she might just be rushing herself a little bit here. May just need to take a breath, take a little time, and reset herself. No need to rush this whatsoever. This time a full toss and hit out through the leg side. A very strong chase from the fielder. Throw comes in. Shy at the stumps. I think she would have been home. But they get 3. I'm trying to see who that was out there who saved the boundary.
That's the second 3 in this over. It's been an expensive over for Sweden.
Looks like it was Ekaterina Bogdanova who really took the handbrake off and showed a clean pair of heels in chasing that ball down to the boundary. I don't know if she's got a history in athletics or sprint training.
I believe she has, because she plays for Malmöhus. She's been a team member there for many years.
This is a big full toss. It's actually, I think, come off the side of the bat. Really good bit of fielding. Backward square. 2 bounces. Good throw comes in, but the Germans make their ground. Yes, another good piece of fielding, because I don't think that came out of the middle of the bat. I think it was the side of the bat. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, Mo, where you've collected it with the side of the bat full throttle, but the ball does tend to fly pretty well.
I have indeed.
I saw a really good video the other day from, if you remember him, he played for New Zealand, Lou Vincent. And
Yes.
he was trying to see how far he could hit a golf ball with a cricket bat. And then he turned it sideways and used the side of the bat to smack the golf ball, and it went miles. So it was a really good bit of fielding down there to save the boundary and keep it to 2. That's much better from Rana. Another shy at the bowler's end. Speaking a little bit about Ekaterina, asked her how she got involved in cricket. She said she had an ex-boyfriend, but she left him, but the cricket stayed. Which is a good story. Clipped nicely off the legs out to mid-wicket, but she's hit it a little too well on this occasion. Flew out there to the boundary, and means that they could only complete a single. Just an inside edge into the leg side. It's the keeper who picks up and has a shy at the bowler's end. The lander doing well to get across.
So that's the end of the 7th over. Germany are 61 for 2. Germany are off to a fairly good start here, with Garcia on 24 and Ronalds on 10. So the run rate has dropped a little bit. It's just below 9. So at the start of the game, we were looking at a 200 plus. I think Sweden have done quite well in restricting some of the boundaries. So we're now looking at a projected score of 174 at the moment.
It will be Champto to take up the attack from the pavilion end. A beautiful vista spread out in front of us as she does, because while the sun is shining, we're watching what I assume are geese flying in formation down there towards the far end of the ground. I suppose getting to that time of year where migration is on the minds of the birds.
Just giving you a shot of that on the screen at the moment. That's all the geese.
Really is quite something watching them fly in formation and repeatedly fly over the ground at low altitude.
There's quite a few in there, and doing the formations as well.
Meanwhile, Champto is keeping it tight, and Thelander has another shy at the bowler's end. It's Jayasuriya who runs round to cover it. She wants to say hi to her husband, by the way, so if you're watching at home there in Sweden, hello from her.
Just an update from Albertslund. Norway are 31 for 3 now at the end of 8 overs.
Nice little inducker from Champto, angled in and seaming away. Well taken by the keeper, Thelander. Very, very full, and she has chipped that out towards mid-on, where it is Bogdanova who races around. She hasn't got the strongest arm, but she is incredibly quick across the turf. Chamto now to Ronalds. I can't quite see the release point of Chamto there because we are looking down in towards the sun currently. But it seems like sometimes she has her wrist behind the ball and sometimes she breaks that wrist. So it reminds me a little bit of Chris Harris, if you remember him bowling for New Zealand, Mo.
Yes.
And how he would bowl his little in-swingy seamers and then he'd roll his fingers over it and they'd be almost little leg cutters. It looked to me like it was almost like she was bowling in a similar fashion. We used to call them dibbly-dobblers back in New Zealand. We had a number of bowlers who bowled that way for a while. So struck on the pad and it's a shout from the bowler. Not a bad shout. But yeah, during the 90s we had the likes of Harris and Latham and Larson. Not the quickest, but incredibly accurate. This one worked off the hip. Throw comes in from mid-wicket. Well backed up. So far today, the backing up from Sweden has been very good. Rana angling it in, does the fielding off her own bowling. This one cut to point. Throw comes in immediately, Yusuf there. And this is what Sweden need to do. They need to find a way to peg the Germans back a little bit. That was very full, but going down leg side. No interest from the umpire. Ronalds looks a little bit frustrated, so this is what the Swedes need to do. A couple more dot balls here, and we might see a rush of blood. Again, really nice areas, this time pushed into the offside. It'll just be the one. And that will bring us to the end of the over. Germany going along nicely at 67 for 2, but there has been a bit of a fight back from the Swedes. It does look like Chamto will continue from this pavilion end, bowling her dibbly-dobblers. And I'm going to look very closely to see if she is bowling the occasional one out of the back of the hand. She's assessing her field. Square leg back, point all the way back on the rope. Again into the hip, struck firmly by Ronalds. And it's a good throw that comes in from Yusuf out there on the rope. Keeps it 2-1. Full this time and pushed into the offside. A good piece of fielding. A diving save. Looks like it is Zara Muhammad who's put her body on the line. Good work from the big fast bowler. This time Garcia's got more time to pick her spot, find the gap, and she is pushing hard to come back for 2. Ball finding its way all the way out to the sweeper, who's remonstrating with one of the other fielders. I think someone said, you know, you need to get in quicker. I don't think she believed she could have stopped 2 runs there. Oh, that one just jagging back a little bit off the seam, cramping Garcia. this is what Chamto can do to you. She's just incredibly accurate. Hits a nice length. That one bounces up. And this time the player gets in really quickly off the rope. Still a bit sore about the comments that came her way just a couple of balls ago. She made sure this time to keep it to a single. She's well in off the rope now, though. 20 metres in off the rope, in fact. So that one sits up again and is pulled into the leg side, where Yusuf will come around to mid-wicket and get the throw in. Perhaps the extra bounce not helping Chamto. Her style of bowling, a lower, slower wicket, is probably a lot more dangerous. But right now it's tending to just sit up a little bit. They're able to work her square of the wicket, even though she's bowling very straight. And that brings us to drinks. Germany 73 for 2. They'll be pleased with that, but probably more pleased will be Sweden, because at one point or another it looked like Germany could have the 100 up by now.
Just an update from Albertslund. They're also going into the drinks break there. Norway 42 for 3. And 3 wickets going. 1 to Divya Golecha. There's been a run out and a cotton bowl by Nita Dolgo. There's been 10 extras so far in this game. And I think that has been a common theme across all teams. So Swedish players in a huddle.
I think I might have missed the memo in terms of, there seems to have been a race every single day by the substitute fielders who are bringing the drinks out for the drinks to absolutely hair off. It's almost like someone's got a stopwatch on them and they're all competing for a separate award that I haven't been told about. Speaking of not being told, missed the team bus this morning.
How did that happen, Jess?
Well, they decided to leave half an hour earlier. I'm not staying at the same hotel as the teams, and so I need to catch public transport to that hotel, where I would hop on the team bus and then come to the ground. But yes, they decided to leave half an hour earlier. They didn't tell me, so even though I showed up half an hour early, all I really got to do was wave at the buses as they drove past me this morning. A bunch of gawping players looking out the window like, the hell are you doing out there? Well, I can tell you what I was doing out there. It wasn't being on your bus. But as Germany get back underway in the second part of their innings, I was rescued by Rajesh, the photographer for this event. He also coaches the Danish men's under-15 side. He very kindly showed up in his car and ran me down to the ground just in time to jump on the mic with you, Mo. So my greatest thanks to Rajesh for doing that for me. This one cramps up Garcia and there will be no run. But yes, I hate to say it, it's not the first time that I've missed the team bus.
But the bottom line is that it all ended well, Jess. You got here in time.
That's right, I'm here, and because I'm no longer a player, I no longer run the risk of the coach's wrath. I might run the risk of the Danish board's wrath, though, if I'm not on the microphone in time. Big thanks to Denmark for bringing me over for this tournament. It's been wonderful bringing it to you.
It's always a pleasure, yes.
And outside edge flies away down to third man, where the throw comes in from Bogdanova. Yes, it's always nice to see all the familiar faces from around the Nordic world. I've been involved with cricket in this part of the world now for over 5 years and got to know some people in that time. Some players who've become coaches and administrators, trying to grow the game in their part of the world, and they're certainly succeeding. All we've seen is growth, and it's been tremendous. The quality of the cricket, the number of players. It's a credit to all of the administrators. And of course, this wonderful tournament, the Nordic T20. A result of all that hard work behind the scenes.
So that's the end of the 11th over. Germany at 79 for 2. With Garcia not out on 36. And Janet Ronalds on 16. So they're rolling on here, Germany.
It is Chamto to continue with the dibbly dobblers. Oh, a lot of extra bounce, and this time it almost carries to short third man. She threw her hand out. Germany, in the end, get a single, but that was a close call. I know I was saying before the drinks break that the bounce might not be helping Chamto, but that nearly resulted in a wicket. Oh, and that is where the bounce is not helping her. That's gone straight under the bat and straight over the stumps. The wicket is too bouncy for her.
By a whisker.
There, just a little bit of extra bounce, and it's been forced. Well, what's happened here? Because there's been a shy at the stumps. The stumps are wrecked. Garcia has dropped her bat. I think she made her ground.
Yeah, she was in safe.
I think the way the rule works is if you've made your ground, that even if you drop your bat, you're still in your ground. Is that how that works now, Mo?
Pretty much.
I know if you ground your bat and then it bounces up, then you are in. I don't know about dropping the bat, though.
No, but it looked like she made her ground and then the bat dropped out of her hand, so she was well within the crease. So it's all good.
Really good throw there, though, coming in from the covers. It's interesting. Over the course of the last few days, the number of games that we've had here, it's the stumps at this end who are routinely splattered. The ones at the other end standing tall, standing strong, barely touched. But the ones down here towards the pavilion have been routinely destroyed, and the umpires have had trouble now setting them back up again. I don't know how that works. I'd love to see the stats on it, Mo, if you've got them handy, just how many times these stumps down here have been destroyed.
I believe they're playing for us. How do you say, playing for the spectators? So we have a better view and it's a closer view to the cam. So it's probably a nice sight to see when the Zing wickets are shattered with the lights coming up.
It is really cool having the Zing wickets at this competition. Here comes Chamto again. Just angling in, and Garcia picks her spot out to the sweeper. She looked like she was thinking about two, turned around and the keeper was holding the ball. So a really nice piece of work out there on the boundary. Garcia there practicing running her bat into the crease. So it definitely dug in as it came out of her hand. So if there's any juniors out there watching, that's what you've got to do sometimes. You've got to think about these 1% things in cricket, like running your bat in and doing it correctly, and possibly changing your strategy and getting a little lower with the angle that you run that bat in to prevent it jamming into the pitch and coming out of your hand.
So that's the end of the 12th over. Germany 84 for 2. With Garcia moving on to 38. And Janet Ronalds on 19. The run rate is around 7, so we're looking at a projected score of 140-ish.
Yeah, Garcia is in a rich vein of form, scoring runs in this tournament and the previous one, the World Cup qualifier that had the Netherlands, Ireland and Italy as opponents.
Update from Albertslund. Norway are 47 for 4 in their 12th over.
This one has got away from the bowler, and that will be wide. Again, getting away from the bowler. Again, it will be a wide, and she's not happy with herself. She rubs her hands on the ground, trying to get a little bit more grip in the fingers. I do think she might just be rushing herself a little bit. This one's on line, but it's full and worked out towards the boundary on the leg side. The boundary rider comes around to cut it off, and they get through for 2.
The sun slowly going behind a patch of clouds, but it should be clearing up as we see bright blue skies further up.
Jayasuriya changing tack and coming around the wicket now, but it's gone right into Ronald's arc. She's got the 6-iron out and whacked it over the leg side. Some wide open spaces, just the one fielder patrolling the boundary out there. I think it's Rana. She's certainly quick across the turf and has a good arm. Oh, trying to get cute. She was trying to run that down to the vacant third man area. But those are the sorts of shots that can result in guiding the... He thanked me very much.
That was probably the only catch that the wicketkeeper took then in that game, Jess.
Bit of extra bounce there from Jayasuriya. I think he was more making fun of the fact that I hit it to him so perfectly. But you know, years of coaching, Mo, you see, you get into that vein of hitting catches. Can't stop yourself. This one into the legs, and it'll run away for a single where the wicketkeeper cleans up. Well, this tactic from Jayasuriya coming around the wicket into the right-handers has certainly stemmed the runs somewhat. She goes again, this time a French cut.
Swinging towards the comms box here. And then
Relay throw goes into the keeper. So a couple of handy bonus runs for Garcia as she jammed down on that Yorker. And it brings us to the end of another over, 93 for 2 now. I know people think that that cut shot was invented in France. It's not. I actually have gone about trying to coach that into some players recently. I call it the flamingo. The trick you see, Mo, when you jam down on that Yorker is to lift the back leg. And if you lift that back leg Sure, you're standing there like a flamingo, but you can turn a Yorker into some easy runs down behind square. Trent Boult plays it expertly. Taught him everything he knows about batting. This one has run out to the edge of the 30-metre circle, and that's meant that they've been able to turn for two.
It's good pressure on the field there. Should have just been a one.
It's a good use of space, wasn't it?
Yeah, they picked up the big space around the mid-on area. And this is going in the same direction as well.
Yeah, I think she might have hit it too well to the fielders. See if they come back. They do. It was a long way for Bogdanova to come in off the rope. She is quick, but that was a lot of space to cover.
Then probably move long on up.
I think what I would do, given that Champto is taking pace off the ball, would be to recognise that it's harder for the batters to hit the boundaries. As we see a collision now between batter and wicketkeeper. I'm sure we'll see a punch of the gloves. Yep. No harm done there.
That brings up the 100 for Germany with those 3 runs.
And a loud cheer rings out around the ground from the German dugout.
It's quite interesting to see how many 3s the Germans have taken now.
So a big swish. Garcia trying to bring up her 50 by going over the top of mid-off. Champto getting that little bit of extra bounce, and Ronald's coming down to have a word, perhaps to say, head down, still got work to do.
Garcia moves on to 40. So it's a pretty good partnership that they have here.
This time she dances down and gets an outside edge, which bounces to short third man, and a bit of luck on her side, but that extra bounce in this pitch, catching her out there, even as she advances down the track to try and take the bounce out of the ball. It really is very tennis ball-y. Champto getting it to pop. Full this time, and again, the batter playing underneath the bounce. End of a good over, as we see drinks being run onto the park.
It's end of 14 overs, 101 for 2.
Seems to be an unofficial drinks break by every measure. I'm not sure how much the umpires will tolerate this. One of the Swedish players offering a drink to the umpire and him rebuffing that offer. Perhaps she should have come out with some Swedish chocolate or something like that. It was a very good piece of distraction by the Swedish subfielder there to throw the umpire off. So I'm just looking again to try and see who is bowling from the far end. It does seem to be Jayasuriya again. She has one of the longest names I have ever seen in my life.
Just looking at the partnership here for this wicket, 56 runs coming off there. So it's the second wicket had 33, and the third wicket here is having 56. So this is indeed an anchoring innings for the Germans.
Ronald's now down on one knee, trying to force it through the leg side. There are wide open spaces out there on that leg side. A good throw comes in from Rana, but she can't prevent that second run. Once again, of course, the stumps down here at the pavilion ends shattered.
They're just doing it for us, Jess.
Yeah. It is cool to see them light up.
It's just entertainment for us in a rather dull tent.
Another top edge. Running down to third man, where Bogdanova runs around. Be interesting to see how the Swedish side adjust to this extra bounce. Germany, of course, playing all their games at Ishøj, whereas Sweden have been playing at the other ground. I'm sure the two pitches playing a bit differently, so there might be some adjustment required. Speaking of which, some adjustment in the field as we now have what is essentially a fly slip. The ball tapped on its head to point, and Yusuf has a throw. I asked Yusuf who she wanted to say hello to. Dale Steyn. So Dale Steyn, if you are watching at home right now, if you're sitting there in South Africa and you're tuned into this tournament, Yusuf wants to say hi to you. I actually got to spend some time with him many, many years ago when I was bowling in the nets in New Zealand. And I was training with the South African side, bowling some leggies to Dale in the nets. Me and Justin Ontong. And I got Dale out 3 times in 5 balls, which is one of my greatest feats as a club cricketer. And the really cool thing was that so many of the South African side came out to watch this, to know who this tiny Kiwi was who was getting Dale out, and they started to sledge the hell out of him. Gee, it was funny. It really was quite amusing. We had the umpires in the nets practicing for the test as well.
Okay,
And
that's quite an interesting.
Well, you know, for someone like me, Mo, who never got to play test cricket, who never even got close, that was my moment to stand there with, you know, top flight umpires in the nets, bowling to Dale Steyn, getting him out, and then having him sledged to bits by his own team. I can tell you it's one of the most glorious moments of my life, and I will never let it go. And one day I'm going to bump into Dale. It'll be at a bar or some function or an ICC event, and I'm going to regale him with this story, and he's going to tell me it's not true. And I'm going to say, you cut me real deep just now, Dale. Because it'd suit him not to remember it, but I will tell that story to the day I die. Lovely bunch of guys too, that South African side, they really were.
So that last ball was dabbed down the leg side, 3 runs for that effort. And I was just checking how the Germans have been scoring so far. So
it's wide.
They have 24 runs coming off ones, 36 coming off twos, 21 coming off threes. There's been 16 runs on fours, and the rest have been on extras. So it's quite interesting statistic here, how the Germans have been running between the wickets.
This one is down leg side, and it will be another wide. I've done some practicing in between overs, so hopefully I'll get it right this time. Vaidya. Now coming around the wicket. Angled into the pads, and that will go away for a leg by as the keeper tracks it down, and really strong throw from the keeper. Love to see that. Love to see a good throwing arm on a keeper.
And Thielander is actually a very good keeper. She also plays for Malmöhus. Young lady. And she's quite good at the bat as well. Talented youngster.
This one jammed into the deck and into the hip. Ronald says thank you very much and hits it down there. And I tell you what, that is some throw, because from way down by the gymnasium, I can't see who it is down there because it's so far away.
I think it's Captain Rana.
Through to the bowler's end to prevent any extra runs. Germans did not see that coming, neither did I. Heck of a throw. Again, too short and into the body, and again, worked around the corner. They're just easy runs for the Germans. Again, a really good throw in from the boundary, prevents the second run. So a strong arm down there on the rope. This time away from the batter into the offside. Point comes in and she's about halfway between the 30-metre circle and the boundary. Keeps it to 1. Garcia here on 43. Eyeing up another international 50. Again into the body, and she's collected all of that. I don't think the fielder's going to be able to stop it, and she can't. Would have taken a heck of a dive. Came right out of the middle of the bat. So one shot away now from another international 50 to pad the stats.
That's the end of the 16th over. Germany 120 for 2. Garcia is on 47 from 45, and Janet Ronalds right behind her with 40 from 41. So we're still looking at a projected score of 150, run rate just under 8.
I think from a German perspective, they'll look to go up another gear now. I think in terms of the wickets they have remaining and the time left in this innings, that we may see them start to push the accelerator, try to attack a little more.
Just an update from Albertslund. Norway are 62 for 6 after 15 overs. And Anita Dolgo taking 3 for 14 off her 4 overs. And 1 wicket each for Sophie Østergaard and Divya Golecha. Norway haven't had too many batters getting into double digits.
Well, it is the heater, Rana, who's come back into the attack, but that extra pace suits Ronalds down to the ground. She got down on one knee and forced that up and over mid-on. Again, nice bit of fielding out there, keeps it to 2. I dare say if she'd hit it to a different part of the ground, that was 4. It's just holding up in that damp patch that exists down at that football end of the ground and runs around towards the gymnasium. Ball really holds up towards the edge of the rope down there. Just spend a little bit more time in shadow during the day. Another hot delivery from Rana. Good pace on. Inside edge runs out to square leg, and they can't prevent the second.
Janet Ronalds moves on to 44.
She continues her good form in this tournament as well. Picking up player of the match yesterday. Now that one didn't get up, skidding through to the keeper, and well taken as well. That's not the one you like when you've got the pads on behind the sticks, the ones that shoot through low. She did well there. And that is a wild one. That completely got away from the bowler. The keeper had no chance. And it is Kanwa who has come round at fine leg to clean up the scraps. I'm guessing that was a no ball.
It's 2 no balls there.
So this will be a free hit. Fires it in, and with all that extra pace, she's able to lean on it through the offside, goes almost all the way out to the rope. And 2 runs as she inches closer to that milestone. For anyone who's curious about that, I didn't know what a milestone was before I moved to the UK, and then I saw one in real life. The Romans left them everywhere. Another wild one down the leg side. The standing umpire asking the square leg umpire if that was a no ball. I'm not so sure it was. It will be, because of course the ball didn't touch the pitch. So it was a moot point in the end. No need to even ask the question because that was a wild one. So another free hit. Ronalds will benefit from this one. Fired in hard and hits the bat hard too. Nice piece of fielding at mid-on. Picking up the ball low. It sounded like it came right off the toe.
So that's the end of the 17th over. Germany are 131 for 2 with Garcia on 49, 1 run away from her half century, and Janet Ronalds on 44. Pretty handy partnership here.
It is a handy partnership, but I think if you were to ask the coaches and captains who's the happier side out there right now, I dare say it's Sweden. I think they've pegged Germany back and brought themselves back into this game. So if the Germans can't find the rope in these last 3 overs, I think Sweden will back themselves to try and chase this.
I completely agree with you, Jess, here, because when we started the game, we were looking at a really high score of 200 plus. And now we're looking at a projected score of approximately 150. So that's 50 runs that, you know, Sweden has put on the brakes and reduced that projected score quite considerably.
Yusuf into the attack now from the pavilion end. Not a lot of pace, even if Dale Steyn is her favourite player. He is a character, Dale Steyn. He always looked so very, very angry on television. And she's picked her up. So Ronalds won't get a 50 today. And Yusuf will be mobbed by her teammates. They're all stoked for it. It could have been. The adjustment in the body and the batting maybe needed to take a couple more balls, but of course so deep in the innings you don't have time for that. Got to swing for the fences. She saw an opportunity, but she was through the shot.
A good partnership of 86 comes to an end, but Garcia is still out there, 1 run away from her 50. So she's definitely looking to get over that milestone.
The new batter coming out to the middle, Ramisha Shahid. Taking guard there. Yes, as I was saying about Dale, he's a real personality. He's quite a character away from cricket. When you saw him on TV, he was an incredibly scary guy. He'd have those insane eyes, and all you would think is, man, I don't want to be out there batting. But in real life, when I got to meet him a handful of times that I have, I remember distinctly being at the Basin Reserve, the coaching staff telling him off for skateboarding. You know, there's a lot more about the man. He's a complex individual. He's got a lot going on, and he's got a really good sense of humour. But a natural athlete.
That last ball was called a wide.
Yusuf now channeling her hero. Batter gets that one on the full and there's no one out there. So the Swedish fans will have to collect that one and toss it back.
Loud cheering from the German dugout.
Yes, thankfully that's where the Betonk courts are. So once the cricket ball hits the sand, it comes to an abrupt stop, even if it's upsetting for the oldies down there who are playing currently here in the sun.
That's just showing you on the screen now what Jess was kind of referring to. That little shed out there is where they're playing.
Having the time of their lives.
That's a pretty good day, nice and sunny. The clouds are slowly moving away and we have blue skies. Sun is slightly hiding behind the clouds.
I don't know if it is, mate. I'm boiling down here.
It is warm.
This one is down the leg side and that will be another wide. They want to clean up these extras, Sweden. It's all bonus territory for the likes of Germany.
There's also a lot of cheering on the football pitch. Looks like a game is just concluded and the traditional Danish victory song being sung in the background.
Is that the one by Shubidua?
There's an attempt for stumping, but the batter is safely in.
It was another swing and a miss though, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yusuf's pace just... As I move some of our electronic elements out of the sun. Oh, the reverse sweep, and she hits it really well. Well, it's a good thing that the Swedes left that cover sweeper out there, because that was a surprise. Didn't see that one coming, Mo. What a...
And this goes here.
This is very wide again, so she'll have to re-bowl that.
I guess he needs to wait a little longer.
Well, there's no question that the Germans in the dugout will be waiting with bated breath to clap her when she does get some bat on ball. She's trying her best. A wide well outside off now, a wide well down the leg side. She'll be frustrated. A little swish of the bat there. She stretches her legs. She straightens her pads. She's determined she wants this.
She is indeed running out of patience.
And this time it bounces on her. So that brings an end to the over. And she is going to have to continue this wait to bring up an international 50. Goodness gracious, this is taking forever.
End of 18. Germany on 141 for 3. Garcia is on 49. Still waiting to get her 50. And we have Ramesh Shahid on 5. So still looking at a 158 as projected score. Meanwhile, in Albertslund, Norway are 72 for 7 in their 19th over. And a couple of run-outs there as well.
Net run rate could be the decider in this tournament, so Denmark will be looking to restrict Norway as much as they possibly can and then knock it off as quickly as they can.
So just a quick look at the points table. So Germany are at the top with 4 points and 3.57 as the net run rate. Sweden are also with 4 points, but with 2.52 as net run rate. And Denmark are with 2 points with 0.64 with the net run rate. Norway have 2 points, but they have a negative net run rate. So this is again coming back to what we sort of discussed at the beginning of the game.
Hurricane Rana charging in again from the football end. Clipped away into the leg side by Shahid. She really does bowl with some heat. It's a real snap of the wrist and the ball comes flying through. Easily one of the quickest on display. Perhaps Balaji, the other one. But if it can't, no, he's bad on that. An appeal, but a throw at the bowler's end. And if that had been a direct hit, I'm not so sure that Shahid was going at full clip there.
So will this be?
And Rana running in when there was no umpire. Umpire suggesting that maybe she wait for him. Oh, yeah. See, that's the fastest ball we've seen in the tournament. She really fired that one in. A hard, sharp Yorker into the toes. But I'll tell you what, Garcia got a little inside edge on it into the leg side, and she will collect another international T20I 50. Well done to her, and you can hear the cheers of her teammates on the sideline celebrating with her. Well done, Wilhelmina.
Field is being moved back a little bit.
Really good pace off the toe of the bat, flies down towards mid-off, takes the catch, and Rana is cockahoo. She's deserved that. She's bowled hard, she's bowled fast. It was too quick that time for Shahid, got it right off the... A little bit of a drink. She looks to carry her bat through this innings.
So that's 4 wickets down for Germany, with an over and a ball left in their innings.
I know we said hello to her yesterday, but I'm sure there's a very proud mum, Kova, watching at home. Garcia wanted to say hi to you. Her cricketing hero, by the way, Hayley Matthews. This one fired down the leg side. So Wilhelmina plays her cricket in England for Stoke Newington. So if any of her clubmates are watching back in England, hello to you. This one again fired down the leg side. I know she's bowled her entire spell around the wicket. I would have been really curious to see her come over the wicket and see if we can get her sliding the ball in and under the bat. Oh, an under edge, and it just went past the face of the wicketkeeper. It is Kanwar who will come around to clean up. So a couple of bonus runs for Germany off the bottom edge. And that gets Simone Kingsley underway.
Well, stoppage here. I think the scorers are having a word with the umpire on the walkie-talkie.
We do live in the future, don't we? Umpires with walkie-talkies.
I have a walkie-talkie here as well, it's just that I haven't...
You're not letting me play with your walkie-talkie? I thought we were friends.
I just didn't take it out. It is actually in the big kit bag that we have here. with all the equipment.
I can't believe we've gone the whole tournament and I haven't got to play with a walkie-talkie.
It's actually fun.
It is fun.
Just walking around with that little beep coming in, and then having that conversation straight out of the movies.
I tell you what, 10-year-old me is having a fit inside right now. All he wants to do is play with that walkie-talkie. Anyway, a little hold-up and play as the scorers and umpires play with theirs. But it is Hurricane Rana to continue around the wicket, trying to fire it in at Simone Kingsley. And this one's down the leg side, covered nicely by the keeper who gets across.
Bowler having some difficulty with the right line there.
Again, I feel like it wouldn't be an issue if she was coming over the wicket.
It is a right-hander, so definitely that would have been the right way to do it.
Fired in this time, an inside edge onto the pad. It's stifled appeal. So the umpire gave that as leg byes as well, even though she clearly hit it.
So that's the end of the 19th over, a very long 19th over. So a couple of extras coming off there. Germany move to 149 for 4.
So Germany have an opportunity in this last over to try and push that score up as much as they possibly can. I think Sweden, they'll be happy with anything under 160. But for the Germans, if they can get up to 170, if they could really find the rope in this over, then I think they'd feel like they'd done a really good job with the bat. I mean, they've done a good job, but those extra 10 to 15 can make all the difference, especially if this comes down to the wire. Sweden are a good batting side. They already put up 175 plus once in this tournament. And it looks to me like it's Kanwar who's going to come on to bowl this final over. Bowling leggies, bit of turn there too. Well, that was interesting. She's come out of nowhere. I mean, she landed that nicely. It turned abruptly off the surface. I don't know why they didn't use her earlier. If she's going to continue to bowl like that. Little skip in the step, a lot of turn. And it's going to be wided, but it's going to be wided for turn. I don't mind that. If she can find her radar, and it's not easy to do as a leg spinner. Normally you need to warm up into your task, get the shoulder going, get the fingers warmed up, get a feel for the ball and the pitch. That can take 1 or 2 overs. Here she is, she's only going to get 6 balls. Skip tossed up, struck down the ground, high off the bat, so it won't go to the fence. It is Jayasuriya who runs around and gets that throw in. So just the 2. Change in the field now as Jayasuriya is very straight at long off. Pitched nicely off the toe of the bat as the ball turned really hard away from Simone Kingsley. She was reaching for it. And I have to say, having seen just a tiny little bit of Kashfi Kanwar, why didn't she bowl more? When you're coming up against good sides like Germany, I know leg spinners can occasionally go for a few runs, but they also take wickets. This one, well down the leg side. Well, if she's just young and starting out, this is a really good start for her in Swedish colours, and I've not seen her before. I don't know much about her. but there's plenty of potential there to work with. Lands it well, and again, all Simone Kingsley can do is reach for it. She's not using her feet to get to the ball. The ball is turning away from her, and she's swinging the willow. It's coming off the toe, no power. Really, really thoughtful in her process and the way she sets up before she comes into bowl. Gives it a good rip, this time into the hip. Simone Kingsley gets it round the corner and it's rolling down towards the gymnasium. Fielder coming across, but it will roll away down there for 4 as the sun beats down on this outfield and it starts to liven up.
There's one ball remaining in this over, the final over of the German innings.
So I think if this can be a dot, even Stevens. It will be a stiff chase for Sweden. They'll have to bat well, but it is within their wheelhouse. Kashmir Kamwa drags it down leg side, and unfortunately, that's also going to go to the rope. So those last 2 balls drifting into the legs of Simone Kingsley, and she does what she needed to do, which is swivel, pull, get plenty of bat on it, and find the rope. So she'll be pleased with those 2 shots. And it does mean that the Germans will finish their innings, 164 for 4. If Sweden are going to go close, it's going to be a great chase. So stay tuned. I hope you're enjoying the Nordic T20. We will be back in about 5 minutes as the players switch over. We're going to grab a drink, something to eat. I hope you can do the same. And if you're interested in joining us down here in Ishøj in the sun this afternoon to watch Denmark play Germany, that's going to be a cracker of a game too. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back in 5.
Welcome back to Ishøj Cricket Ground, where Sweden are slowly walking out into the middle to start their innings. They need 165 to win from their 20 overs. Welcome back, Jess.
It's nice to be back, Mo. I'm currently trying to cake on some sunscreen because it is rather warm. I've only got my little mini bottle of sunscreen. It's only supposed to be for my nose and cheeks, and I'm having to plaster it all over myself because it really is getting warm down here on the sideline.
It's nice and sunny in the comms box here.
If you're looking for your next sunny vacation, I can't stress that Denmark has sun too.
When we have it.
When you have it. Well, you definitely have it right now.
Perfect day for cricket. Nice blue skies, sun beating down on us. A little breeze blowing across the ground.
I'm sure the players are grateful for that breeze. As the Swedish openers take guard. Stress again that this is a really big game for Sweden. For both sides, really. But if Sweden can win today against Germany, if they can knock off these runs, they will go a long way to winning the Nordic T20 for 2025. Balaji there on target as always.
Good movement of the ball.
Followed this afternoon by Denmark versus Germany. Balaji, that Malinga style action. Her favourite player, Lasith Malinga. No surprises there. I did wonder yesterday if she had a slower ball, that off-cutter that Malinga used to bowl. If she doesn't have it in her repertoire, I hope she hears this and goes away to work on it. That one's fired down the leg side. She has been incredibly accurate.
Just the update from Albertslund. Denmark have started their chase. They need 81 to win. They're eight runs on the board now at the end of 2 overs, needing another 73 of 108.
This one into the pads, worked into the leg side, and no run. Yes, Denmark will be looking to knock those runs off against Norway just as quickly as they possibly can, because they managed to lose their game against Sweden somehow. And it means that they are not completely in control of their own destiny. This one into the pads, worked into the onside. Just the 2 players in the ring on the onside. But the batter there has found them on each occasion. No runs.
Fairly well set field.
One slip in. Again, fired in and very accurate, proving that that wide down the leg side was a random. But yes, because Sweden were able to defeat Denmark, it means that if Sweden can win this game, they'll only have Finland standing in front of them this afternoon. And they'll be a really good shout of winning the title. Fired in, bit of extra bounce up and over the offside, forced away, and we'll see if they can turn for 2. They do. Germany, on the other hand, what do they need to do? They just need to win these games. They've been in the standout side so far in this tournament. And if they beat Sweden, then this afternoon's game against Denmark, assuming that Denmark beat Norway, will be for the trophy. And that will be exciting to watch. So if you are watching the stream at home here in Copenhagen and want to come down and support your national side, we've got the chairs out ready for you, although it is filling up with Swedish fans. You can come down and bring a blanket, bring some food, bring some cold drinks, enjoy the sunshine, cheer on the Danes against the Germans this afternoon. Certainly a tight competition between these top three sides. In short and on the hip, worked around the corner. There's no one out there at square leg, and that'll be the first boundary for Sweden.
Well picked up by the batter there.
Yes, the length was
Short.
not, yeah, Shahid just too short to start. And there is some batting power in this lineup.
You don't want to bowl short and down the leg side and with no fielders on that side of the fence.
No, Bogdanova swiveling and getting it out of the middle of the bat as she takes guard again. Very full from Shahid. Wide ball. Looks to me like Germany have switched up their keeper for this game. So it was Stoller with the gloves yesterday. Oh, that was close. So high up on the bat, forced into the leg side. And it almost carried to Kunakunta, who was in. Wow, she wasn't particularly close. She wasn't particularly far away, was she? But
no, just dropped in front of her.
It just dropped in front of her.
Would have been an amazing catch if she got her hands to it.
It does look like she's been moved a little closer. But that horse might have bolted. Just done for pace a little bit and getting it high on the bat. Trying to find timing on this bouncy deck, which is the first time Sweden have played on it in this tournament. So there will be some adjusting to do as we get a couple of gusts of wind here through the commentary position. Fuller ball and pushed into the offside. So a change in keeper for the Germans.
And this one is again short on the leg side.
Sounded nice off the bat, didn't it? It's rolling down towards the nets. Fielder does well, Balaji, but the throw is wayward. Sweden not looking, miss out on another run. That's one of those plays where Germany would have been completely aware of the situation and they would have got the extra run. We've seen it numerous times from some of these other Nordic sides where they haven't been watching the ball and they haven't been aware of those heads-up plays where there were extra runs to be gathered. The Germans are cut above in that respect. This one well down the leg side. Doesn't catch up with it this time and it'll be a wide.
Had it been a little closer to the batter, that would have also been dispatched down the leg side as well. But batter doing well in letting it go. Still get that extra run on the board. I think these two have done quite well with the start of the Swedish innings.
Again down leg side, and this will be a boundary. Set up, and she made the most of it. Straight out of the middle of the bat, down towards the practice nets, and it is travelled. It looks like Balaji's going to have to collect that one out of the bushes. It's gone a long, long way.
And now the skipper wanting to move a fielder out there.
Yep, so third man comes up inside the ring. Captain Coley making the adjustments. Got to meet her earlier today and thank her very much, because this German side left us a card
Yes.
to say thank you, and what a touching thing that was. I am a sentimental old duffer.
That's the little card that we got from the German side.
Yeah, and they all signed it. They all signed it. It wasn't just, hey, thanks from Germany. Each and every player has gone through and signed the card for us. And I can tell you, my heart is touched. Thank you, Germany. It's really nice to feel appreciated in that way. Very kind of you.
Yes, thank you, Cricket Germany, for giving us these cards. It's always nice to get appreciated for the work that we do.
The work that you do, Mo, you do the hard work. I'm doing the easy stuff. I'm just flapping my gums.
I'm just supporting you with it, but you know, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in making these tournaments happen, and also making sure that the logistics also work. We're not talking about local teams. We're talking about international teams coming into a country, and definitely making sure that they feel at home and all their requirements are met. So DCF has done a very good job, even though we're playing in 2 different locations. It's close by. The logistics have been handled quite well by DCF, and there is a DCF presence on both fields to ensure that there is nothing that falls between the chairs.
The Yorker there, really nice from Balaji. Throw back to the keeper, pressure on the Swedes. Yes, I thought the hotel that the players were all staying in was very nice. It's not where I was staying. I've had the privilege of being taken in by the Danish coaching staff, and I appreciate that very much. I got to play a bit of VR cricket the other night for the first time.
How was that experience?
That was great. I got bowled out for 15. Losing 10 wickets for 15 might suggest that I need a little bit more practice, but it was a lot of fun. It was an interesting coaching tool. What I'd love to see is them develop the bat a little bit more, because it is very light. It does feel very different in your hands, but some sort of haptic feedback, full-sized bat. I'm sure that's something someone out there is thinking about. As Balaji runs in again, firing in that Yorker. Her accuracy is really commendable. She is quite the bowler. I do wonder, though, if she could develop that off-spinning, slower ball Yorker that Malinga used to bowl. If she can add that to her arsenal, could be really, really deadly at this level.
On-target bowling, straight to the fielder. It's also quite interesting, all the games that we've seen, Jess. The fielding has been quite good.
It has been quite good. The standard has been quite good, but then again, we've watched the coaches drill their teams day after day. They're making sure. I mean, some of these sides, they only get together to practice maybe once a month. You know, it's not a heck of a lot. So a lot of the standards full again and driven to mid-on, running with the shot. Shy at the stumps, but she's well home.
So just for the spectators here, we have CEO for the Danish Cricket Federation, Alex Olsen, joining us in the comms box. He joins us here in a second.
Well, it's lovely to be joined here by you, Alex, as we watch an almighty shot up over the onside, running away down towards the boundary in the far corner. It is going to pull up, which means that the running between the wickets from the Swedes there was a little lackluster. It should have been 3. What do you think, Alex?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me into your wonderful tent together with Mojo. Thank you for inviting me into your tent. What I think we have been very lucky with the weather in this Nordic Cup, and I think I've seen a lot of great cricket here. I think a lot of our women are very competent in what they do.
Yes, it's great to see DCF getting behind women's cricket here in Denmark. A rich history of women's cricket. I believe the Danish side went to the World Cup.
Correct.
Way back in the day. It would be great to see Denmark reach those giddy heights once again. And I'm sure that's on the radar for Danish cricket.
Well, it's still a long way to go, but you're correct that women's cricket is one of our top priorities these days, and it's very important for our sport to actually, continue growing.
Nice little shot into the offside, but picked off and no run. Yes, I've enjoyed all of the time that I've got to spend in Denmark. I think this is my 4th trip here, and I've said it on commentary throughout the weekend. One of the things I really enjoy is traveling around this beautiful country and seeing all the wonderful facilities that you have available. Wonderful cricket pitches and nets and club rooms and history and photos and trophies and cabinets. It's a real rich cricketing history that you have here in Denmark, and it's a real point of difference compared to some of the other newer nations coming to the game. I know you're a part of associate cricket, but perhaps people don't know how far the history goes back with Denmark.
Yeah, so it goes back to 1866, and the association has been organized in the way we are today since 1953. Before that, there was also an organization together with football that took care of cricket in Denmark.
That ball struck down behind square, but there's 2 players back there now, so it will just be the single.
Yeah, so we appreciate our history, but it's not like we don't look forward because we have a long history. It is important, and as you say, we are a bit different than most of the continental Europe countries, maybe outside the Netherlands, because of the history, because of the facilities. But it's also hard work to keep the facilities. There's a lot of competition to have the space for that. Most grounds in Greater Copenhagen, we have like 14 grounds, are only for cricket, which helps us a lot. But still, we are under pressure for the Big Brother football. They want to have everything, so it's a constant fight to actually maintain the presence. In the club we are here, Ishøj, the chairman has done a great job over time to make sure that the club is relevant and that he has the network.
It is a beautiful facility. I've spoken warmly about the quality of the outfield, and certainly this pitch out in the middle has been very true, this Astro. Nice bouncy pitch. It hasn't stayed low hardly at all. The odd ball maybe towards the end of a day's play when the heat's been taken out of the wicket, but otherwise it's been very good. And this facility as well, this whole complex that this ground is a part of is really, really great.
Yeah, this is a suburb of Copenhagen, very close to the sea. It's only 1 kilometer down to a nice sandy beach if anyone fancy to have a dip. You have a chance.
With the sun out today, I bet you that's where a lot of people are. That is a tremendous shot. Up and over cover. That's the shot of the day. Wow. Captain Colley Got to stand back and applaud that even as the bowler, because, man, what a shot that was. Did you like that one, Alex?
Yeah, I think it was great, and I think that Sweden has a great team, and they have recent years proven that they have a lot of good women's teams. So I wish them all the best and hope that they can continue their very exciting endeavor. I think even the Swedish women are ranked much higher than the Swedish men, and from my perspective, it's by far the best team in the Nordic. So congratulations to Sweden with that effort.
Tried to do an instant replay, didn't catch up with it this time. Yes, it's interesting to look at nations like Thailand, for example, where their women's side are far more highly ranked than their men's side. There is an opportunity for associate nations to push themselves up the ladder and grow cricket through women's cricket and not just men's.
Yeah, that's true, and Thailand is a good example of what you can do if you put your mind to it, and not let you sidetrack by too much, men's cricket. And Brazil is another good example. They are the first country ever that have awarded contracts to the women team without having that system up already for the men's team.
There's a big appeal there from the Germans, but I believe she's home. A shake of the head from the umpire.
And of course they are Olympic sport. It's not quite the same in the Nordic because that's not the decider of our funding, but that will help a lot of these countries to be growing the game for sure, and give us more competition, of course.
I won't keep you too much longer, Alex, but I am curious about indoor cricket. It's a very big sport where I come from, down in New Zealand. We play a lot of indoor cricket there and in Australia. Some long winters in this part of the world. Is there much indoor cricket that goes on?
Yeah, I would say as soon as the season starts or ends in late September, we have a small break, and then the indoor start. And as you say, the weather is not helpful to be outdoor. We do have a very old tradition of an indoor league back from the yellow indoor ball and play in we have a lot of indoor facilities where we that are designed based on the size of a handball court, because that's a big sport in Denmark.
Yep.
So that is important. It's a very good way of recruiting, because you have a safe environment. You don't need to worry about the weather, and you have let's say a less dangerous ball. So it's very much important for us to do indoor.
Yeah, I like that. So the way our indoor courts work in New Zealand is that they're also a shared facility. So you have your rectangle laid out, but they play a little bit of futsal in there, and they play netball in there, which are other big indoor sports in New Zealand, and of course indoor cricket. So it makes perfect sense that you would share that with the handball, and I hope they're supportive of that too. And I bet you could steal some great spinners from some handball teams.
Well, I wish we could, but we are actually having a little program we are planning to work on that will mean that, especially in the women's department, we'll see if we can set up a program to let's say attract young athletic female that have maybe given up handball or volleyball, and see if we can offer them something that they wanna do and continue their sporting career.
Well, I've absolutely seen some of the young volleyball players poking their heads out from the gymnasium to watch some of the cricket this weekend. So there's a little bit of interest there. It's one of those sparks that you want to turn into a flame, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the microphone, Alex, and for inviting me and having me here in your wonderful country. I've really enjoyed my time here, and spending time with all of you is always a joy for me.
Thank you for being here. It's our pleasure. Hope to see you soon again.
You know it. So there's been a bit of a change in bowling at the football end. The in-swinger has come on.
Big thank you to Alex Olsen, CEO of the Danish Cricket Federation for stopping by and having a few words with you, Jess, in terms of how he saw this tournament and cricket in general in Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark have been great hosts. So just swinging into line there, leaning on the ball, striking it out towards the gymnasium. A little bit of uncertainty in the running. There was always two there. And the throws come in, and the batter, surprised by the delivery, has swatted it down with her hand. No risk of being out-handled the ball, just defending herself. She certainly wasn't running between the wickets at that point, just surprised by an errant throw. But Iris Edwards had a very good tournament at the World Cup qualifiers, bowling these induckers, and that one, on this occasion, has carried to a very deep gully. So a punch of the gloves between the batters, encouragement to continue with this chase. But Germany celebrating as they've finally broken this partnership. Sweden now 33 for 1.
Just an update from Albertslund, where Denmark is now 2 wickets down for 33 in the 8th over. They need another 48 from 77. So Tina Eriksson is on 11 and Lena Leisner is on 11 as well. 2 most experienced batters for Denmark.
Looks like it's Kachin Rana who's come out to bat at number 3 for Sweden, as we see Bogdanova slowly make her way off the ground. Iris Edwards with the breakthrough. She did pick up quite a few wickets, as I was saying, in that World Cup tournament just last week. I do think she could work on her pace and generate a bit more pace, but that is, as it currently stands, those sort of slow in swingers are actually pretty hard to play, especially on a bouncy surface like this one. I think that's what happened when Bogdanova was trying to drive it through the offside. Just a little bit of extra bounce off the outside edge, and it did carry a long way to what was quite a deep gully, who then dove forward to take that catch. A good catch too, got both hands underneath it as she dived forward. And you could hear the celebration from the Germans. They knew it was a really good play. So Kohli is going to continue now.
At this stage, Germany were 56 for 2 at the end of 6 overs.
Germany did get off to a very good start. Full toss there and struck out to cow corner, straight into the waiting hands of the Swedish fans. So, wonderful shot.
Sweden scoring about 6 runs and over. Asking rate is 9.
Vidya has definitely struck the ball nicely. As we see a change in the field, as the fielder is now pushed back towards that cow corner position, 2/3 of the way. This one is set up on the leg side, and it'll be helped around the corner. The sweeper herring around there, picks it up just inside the rope, down deep square leg. Should probably want to get more of that. Probably disappointed that didn't also find its way to the boundary. In terms of the fielders that we have out on the rope, that cow corner has now been pushed back all the way towards the Swedish fans. We have a deep mid-wicket and a deep point. Kohli quite wide there, and the umpire sees it the same way I do. Gosh, I'm glad I put some sunscreen on in the break. It really is warm down here now. We've gone from having the odd cloud in the sky to absolutely none, as this is forced up and over the offside. Clever little shot into the gap. The batters need to run hard here. They need to convert these into 2s, and they do so on this occasion. But that was reminiscent of the chip shots in the 70s, where certain players would hit twos all day long, just chipping over the infield. It's something that's gone out of the game.
Chipping those twos and ones, and no boundaries.
This one has found a gap and they will get another run. Well, it's something that people don't know about the likes of Don Bradman, you know, arguably the greatest batsman to ever play the game. He only ever hit 6 sixes in his entire career. What Bradman used to do to you was run you off the park. He just ran all day long. He was an absolute whippet between the wickets. You know, his batting partners would complain about how much he would run between the wickets, but that's what he would do. He was never too fussed about hitting big boundaries. He knew that he just wanted to maintain his wicket, play safe, stay in, score runs. And that's how you end up with an average of 99.
But the game has transformed over the years. Cricket is, I mean, the game remains the same, but the way the game is played today is a lot different from the 30s or the 40s era. Today it's more about hitting big shots, playing unconventional cricket. You had the birth of T20s.
You do, but I always think there's more than one way to skin a cat, and please nobody tell me how they came up with that idiom, because I don't want to know. But the thing is, with this game, we have these big bats and we have a lot of emphasis on power plays and trying to smash the ball over the top. And there are a lot of really good, strong players who can do that. I know I've spent a bit of time in New Zealand with Sophie Devine, and she came from a hockey background. That is one player with arms like tree trunks. She can clear any rope anywhere around the world. And I think we'll see more of that in the women's game as we go forward. But certainly within the scope of this level of cricket, where there might be a little less power in the game, the likes of chipping the infield for 2 rather than trying to pinch a single through the gap could be a really good way to vastly increase the scores that the teams are putting together. So while it might not be all that fashionable at the moment, I do think it's a good tactic. And sometimes when you think about cricket, you've got to think outside the box and think about different ways that you can score your runs. Of course, we've seen the advent of the ramp, people lapping the ball up and over the keeper. But I think there's a lot more value and a lot more safety in just chipping it over the infield for 2 out to cover or over mid-wicket. So I'd love to see those sorts of thoughts explored as we see one pop up over the top of the ring. It was a point right on the edge, right on the 30-meter circle. That extra bounce off the outside edge carried all the way to her. It hit her high on the hands and high on the shoulder, and it's popped out. There's no hanging of the heads from Germany, though. They're all about the business. That one goes down. Let it go, carry on. This one smashed and really well picked up there at mid-on. Captain Coley comes over with a high 5. Nice piece of work. So Iris Edwards misses out on another wicket, but again, total professionalism from the Germans. She's not worried about it. Carry on. Let's get to the next ball. This time swinging down the leg side. She's definitely getting some movement out there.
There's that breeze blowing across the field, so definitely you get that additional swing, but controlling the swing is actually quite key.
Yeah, the wind swirling around a little bit out there. It's pretty much going right to left across your screen, so it is helping her in the swing. It's certainly blowing the dragonflies away from us.
And also little feathers that are floating around as well.
Looks to me like Garcia is off the park.
She's just sitting across the boundary line.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who's on for her. Big hit up and over the onside, clearing the inner ring and bouncing down there towards the rope. It is slowing up, but it's gone the whole way.
And that was Kanchan Rana there. Very effective batter.
Yep, smashing it over the top. And it is the replacement fielder, Meyenborg, who chased that one down. I assume that she is on the field for Garcia. I'm not sure if she's injured or not, or they've decided to rest her for the big game this afternoon against Denmark.
So there's Garcia on the screen right now.
Almost, Mojo.
Almost. Being the player walking around the boundary line with the water bottles. And that's the end of the 8th over. Sweden are 51 for 1. So they need another 114 from 12 overs.
Well, I don't think they can wait any longer. I think we've seen a little bit more impetus in the last couple of overs, as Rana in particular has tried to go over the top.
He's quite an experienced player, Kanchan Rana. So definitely Sweden will require that experience to get the ball across the boundary.
Yeah, Vaedia might have been pushing to bat through, while we see another strong shot cut off inside the ring by a nice piece of fielding. Kanakunta there, running to her right and getting it on the first bounce. Getting some help there from the coaches on the sideline, some opinions being shared, and the field now changing as we see a square leg back and a mid-wicket back. The cover sweeper being brought in, not just inside the circle, but up quite close. And the ball's pushed to her immediately, and they will come through for a single. Turning and looking for two, and they get there comfortably. Janet Ronalds, of course, picked up a 5 for yesterday, 5 for 7. Nice little bag of wickets to go with her Player of the Match award.
At the moment, Sweden are playing good cricket here. They're still scoring over nearly 6.5 runs and over. The asking rate is 9.5, so still doable, not so much of pressure. They've got wickets in hand. We should start to see some boundaries coming if they want to stay in the game.
That last ball lent on nicely into the leg side, but it was picked up by Captain Coley. She threw it into the keeper and nearly took the batter's head off. Some apologies being shared there as that one drifts well outside off, but no wide given by the umpire.
Probably the batter leaning too much into that shot, closer to the ball.
Yes, most of those balls in that area today, seen the umpire extend his arms, but they stayed down on this occasion. This time, up and over. Hits it up over the inner ring, but finds the fielder on the rope, and it'll just be the one. So there is intent there from Sweden, but they aren't quite finding the rope. Some well thought out field placements by the Germans. They are bowling to their field. This one tossed right up, and in the end, all she can do is jam down on it. I'm sure she thought about going down the ground, but the batters need to have a chat now and reassess, I think, how they're going to go about attacking the likes of Ronalds, because she's one of those bowlers, canny, definitely capable, but with not much pace on the ball and not much spin off the turf, one that they probably need to target.
That's the end of the 9th over. Sweden are 55 for 1. Still scoring 6 runs and over. The asking rate is up to 10. So it's good cricket so far at this stage. Germany was 67 for 2. So Sweden slightly behind, but definitely they should be able to make that up with the experienced batters in the middle at this point. And an update from...
So she's burgled one It was swinging down the leg side. The batter couldn't leave it alone. Just a little tickle through to the keeper, who was immediately up and about the umpire. Back to the sideline. Or catching the batter short and doing them down the leg side. She just takes wickets.
So while that wicket falls, it's the drinks break, and the update from Albertslund, where Denmark are now chasing the Norwegian score. They need another 30 runs of 60 balls. We have Tina Eriksson on 14 and Anna Østergaard on 7.
Well, the big question, Mo, is how quickly are they doing it? Because net run rate is going to be a factor.
They definitely need to score at a much faster pace. And in this game, it also depends on how Germany is going to, the margin of defeat.
If there's a defeat, Sweden will have something to say about it.
Definitely. So it's all now dependent on how soon both these games are getting over, because that's going to affect the net run rate.
Yes, it definitely helps Denmark if Sweden get close to the Germans. Or does it? Have I got that wrong? Do they actually want Germany to pulverize the Swedes? We need to do some maths here, Mojo. Get the calculators out.
Because if the margin is big in this game, then what we're looking at, we just look at the points table now. We'll see that Germany, they have a 3.57 net run rate. If Sweden and Germany are tied on 4 points each. Denmark is behind with 2 points and a 0.64. So depending on how big the margin is going to be, probably Denmark, assuming Denmark wins, then they get 4 points. But will it, how much of that will affect the net run rate? That's the math.
I hate to bring it up, Mojo, but that's not math. It's an assessment of a necessity for math, but it is not the actual math. So if you've got your calculators out at home, perhaps you can help us. We're trying to watch this game. Struck into the offside where they're tight inside the ring. Batter wants to take off for a quick single. Sent back by her partner as Ronalds tracks that one down. But yeah, someone out there. It's going to be a math whiz, but it could come down to net run rate. It might be if Germany do win this game against Sweden. Denmark would prefer that it's done by a tight margin, and then they have to rely on really defeating Germany by a big margin in order to get ahead on net run rate and manage to retain their trophy that they won last year. As it currently stands, it's looking good for Germany, but if Sweden can find the tempo of this game and find a way to combat Edwards, then perhaps they can find the rope, get back into this game, get that run rate back up, and if they can knock Germany off, they'll be sitting pretty to take the title themselves. So a lot of pressure coming in these final 10 overs. Again, swinging in. She's got under that one. Out of the middle of the bat, over the top of the onside. A good shot, but slowing up again as it goes down towards the rope. What needs to happen here is, yeah, really good positive running to come back for 3. We haven't seen enough of that from Sweden so far. But on this occasion, Thielander, the keeper, pushing really, really hard.
That's the end of the 10th over. Sweden are 58 for 2. Need another 107 of the last 10. Still doable.
Still doable. Not out of the question, but it's not going to be easy as the wind has swapped around here and all my bits and pieces are flying off the table once again. I didn't have room in my bag to bring tape, Mojo, to tape all my notes down to the table. I learned that trick doing the ICC qualifiers a few years ago. But what's happening here is that we're using an assortment of paperweights to try and keep things in place. But now that the way you see it on the screen, the wind is blowing left to right now instead of right to left. Honestly, if anything, it made it look like Edwards was swinging the ball even more. But Ronalds is going to continue now here from the pavilion end. Tossed up, down leg side, and the batter called through, rightfully so. Good running from Sweden. That's what they need to do. Dot balls will be the killer. They need to score off every ball if they can. The batter now just readjusting her gloves. Looks like there was something wrong with one of her inners. She takes a strike. 2 fielders are out. Square leg, mid-wicket. Tossed up again. Attempting one. I think the only option here for Sweden is to use their feet to Ronalds and try to get to the pitch and try to go over the top, over the offside and down the ground. That is what Germany's tempting them to do. Tossed up again. Didn't get all of it. A bit of a hoik across the line. Good piece of fielding. The underarm throw comes in, but the batter has made her ground. He's got Simon Kingsley in the gun here at mid-off. And then Kanakunta at mid-on. I do think they're going to try to strike in the V if they can. This time pops up into the offside and they will run with the shot for a single. Again, they get the single, but it never came out of the middle of the blade. There's no one in the deep on the offside whatsoever. Got 3 in the ring on the leg side, 2 out on the rope. Tossed up again. Hits it powerfully into the onside. One of those fielders on the rope comes around to clean up, and she hit it so well that it was just the single. Looks to me like it's Kolcharam out there in that cow corner position. Flatter this time, and oh dear, looks like maybe a bottom edge down onto leg stump. Either that or the ball kept low. Either way, it's another wicket for Germany, and it's another knife.
Just have another look at the replay.
Just stayed down on her. That's her undoing. So it's certainly not the batter's fault. She was doing the right thing, getting into position and trying to make the most of the gap down towards the gymnasium. But that ball stayed down and took out the leg stump. So Edwards is going to continue. I believe this is her last over. Bowling her induckers from the football end. It will be the set batter and Rana taking strike. And that's swung quite prodigiously. Rana couldn't get it out of the middle and no run. Have to hand it to Edwards. She's been very accurate. It's not easy to do when the ball is moving that much. Again, every now and again, she bowls that straight one, the one that doesn't swing in. And when you're setting up, trying to play that in-swinger, trying to protect your stumps and find runs through the leg side, can come as a bit of a surprise to see one go straight outside off. And of course, just like then, a dot ball. This time, down the leg side, she catches up with it. They need to turn this into 2, and they do. Good hard running. All of, almost the entire German side and a massive conga line, just in case that ball needed to be telegraphed in. 5 or 6 Germans in a row there, all perfectly evenly spaced. I don't know that I've ever seen that. It shows their enthusiasm for the game. I don't know if that's a tactic. Surely not. Like, you get into a line and throw it to whoever you feel you can throw it to. Just not sure about that. This time, swinging back into the stumps. She's tried to hit it into the breeze, down the ground, and she has been caught. I think it's Meinborg who's got under that one. Didn't come out of the middle of the bat. She needed to force the issue. She needed to try and find the boundary. Edwards again. She just seems to take wickets every time she's got the ball in her hand. So Rana will head off, and we will have 2 new. Great spell of bowling here from Edwards.
So she's taken 3 for 14. And then this is a 4th over.
Stick by that, by the way. But goodness gracious me if she isn't a wicket taker. I just think if she could find a bit more pace and still swing it the same amount, that would be real trouble for a lot of batters. So a little bit more power through the crease might be something for her to work on in the off season, or change nothing because can't help taking wickets. That's the one that stays straight. A swipe at it from the batter. Everyone thinks that it's over, but it's not. The umpire has called wide. So this tremendous spell from Edwards will continue for one more ball, one more chance to take yet another international scalp. Zahra Mohammed, by the way, who's facing up now. She certainly bowls very quickly. We'll see how much power she's got with the blade. Short this time, and oh, did I question her power? She's got plenty. She smoked that out to cow corner, all the way along the deck, even through a lush outfield. She hit that really hard. 4 runs to Sweden. Who knows? Could she be the hero today?
Update from Albertslund. Denmark are 71 for 3, needing 10 runs to win that game. They still have plenty of wickets in hand. It's Tina Eriksson not out on 25, and Østegård on 14.
They'll want to knock those 10 runs off just as quickly as they possibly can to help their net run rate. I know we harped on about it before, but it will be important in terms of the way this tournament pans out, especially if Denmark can get up over Germany later on this afternoon. Some big changes in the field now as there's a left-hander on strike, so the field is out on the rope. Are all switching and changing.
Sweden still need another 96 after the last 8 overs. Asking rate is about 12 runs and over.
Tossed right up. Well, Ronald's there asking the question, do you want to have a go? If you want to have a go, you can have a go. I'm going to throw it right up. I'm going to dangle that carrot. Smash it if you dare. Again, lots and lots of air, but well outside off. And this time the umpire will signal wide. Quite a lot of sun pouring into our commentary position. If we go off air, it's because one of our laptops or other bits of hardware have caught fire. This time chipped up over the ring on the inside, and Jayasuriya gets the power player on strike. And now we see the field once again shift wildly. The left-hand, right-hand combination making for a lot more meters to be run by the fielders. Get those steps up. But I tell you, who's doing them? The umpire. He's a traditionalist. There'll be none of this standing on the offside. Full toss and absolutely whacked. Goes out there to deep mid-wicket where there is a little fumble, and that allows them to come back for a second run. Yes, I know when I'm umpiring, I don't like to bother myself too much with switching sides of the field. I just take a few extra steps back at point if that happens to be where I end up standing. I know it rubs some people up the wrong way, but I'm tired. This is a flat one, fired into the deck by Ronalds. No air to work with whatsoever. Struck again out to that deep mid-wicket, this time just a single. But we see here the umpires in this international tournament are true professionals. As the left-hand, right-hand combination switches up the field, the umpire more than willing to do his bit and run from one side of the field to the other. This one chipped into the onside by Jayasuriya, falls in a gap, and it's Simon Kingsley who does the fielding. Just a single. And again, we see the umpire running across the park.
So if he's wearing a Fitbit or one of those exercise watches, then there's going to be a lot of steps today.
Yeah, proper commitment to umpiring, not just to making the right decision, but to being fit enough to be out there on the park.
And that's the end of the 13th over. Sweden are 75 for 4. Still need another 90 runs coming off the last 7 overs.
Some real robust discussion there. Some really strong chat between the batters as they try to formulate their plan. Zahra Mohammed certainly has thoughts about where she would like to hit the ball. We'll have an enforced change at the crease as Edwards finishes up her spell. 3 wickets to her. Again. Gee, she's a wicket taker. This one floated up on off and pushed into the offside where there is a fumble, so they will get through for 1. Looks like it's Captain Coley who's taken the ball down there at the football end.
So just the update from Albertsland. Denmark have won that game. 82 for 3 in 15 overs. So that's a welcome victory there. Tina Eriksson not out on 26 and Østergaard on 23. So definitely a victory that's quite important.
Yeah, all those wins count, but what might come back to haunt Denmark is that loss against Sweden. It really was a game that they should have won and that got away from them. If you missed it, they had Sweden, I think it was 35 for 5. Sweden then recovered to be outside edge and well taken at gully. So again, that extra bounce in this wicket sees another wicket taken in the offside inside the ring as the ball bounces up. Well caught. She's disappointed as she wanders off. I did wonder if Sweden might not be used to this extra bounce. Certainly the other day, their lower order proved that they batted deep because, like I say, they were 35 for 5 against Denmark and recovered to be 96 all out. Gave themselves something to bowl at. And they did just that as they restricted Denmark and took the victory. An upset against the current T20I Nordic Cup holders. So there are runs in this lower order for Sweden. They do bat down, but they're going to need all of it if they're to get up over Germany now. Tossed up and struck on the pads. Big appeal, but never looked likely.
So just having a look at the points table. With that victory that Denmark has had now, they've got 4 points. But their net run rate from a 0.62 has just gone up to 0.93. So now the outcome of this game, I don't think it will drastically change the position, Sweden's position. They probably continue to be in second position because of a much better net run rate.
Struck on the pad this time and she's gone. Rashmi playing across the line. I think she wanted to call for the DRS, but no such technology available to us here today.
Not at least in this, not at least in this context. But would it be nice?
You keep saving up, Mo. You keep saving up.
Rashmi not entirely happy with that decision.
No, I don't think she got any bat on it though. The umpire seemed pretty assured in his decision that it was adjacent. As this is a bouncy track, we've seen a couple of times today the ball go under the bat and then over the stumps, which really is the true definition of tennis ball bounce. Not much you can do though if you don't use your bat. This time we see the ball staying down.
It's quite interesting statistics of all the games that have been played. I was just having a look at it. So 8 matches in total so far, 76 players, 1,616 runs, 96 wickets, 1,725 balls bowled, 97 fours, no sixes. There are 12 situations where the batter had scored 25s. There's 3 50s, no hundreds, 21 ducks.
That's a good shot through the leg side, hit powerfully, but there's a fielder out there. It's Balaji, who's got a strong arm. Ball comes into the bowler.
And on the bowling side, 8 maidens, 2 fivers, 280 wides, 36 catches, 19 run-outs, 40 no-balls. Highest team score was Sweden, 175 for 4. Lowest was Finland, 66 for 10. Highest score so far has been 78 by Kanchan Rana. And the best bowling figures was 6 for 7 by Mira Braswan of Norway. Quite a bit of interesting statistics here.
Yes, you can follow those all online yourself if you want to look the tournament up. The links are available.
this point in time, the player at the top with the most points is Janet Ronalds, 311 points.
Well, she just added another one because she's gone through the batter who is coming down to have a chat, but I'm not sure about what. Did she think that was a free hit? Quite sure what's going on there. Did she think it was a free hit? I don't know. Never mind.
I mean, she was well prepared for the ball, to receive the ball.
She just seemed so surprised to have to wander off, like.
Well, it's never nice if you haven't put much on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, I think there was a little misunderstanding there. I guess we will never know, unless you know her personally and you can ask her yourself, but it is another wicket for Germany, another step closer to victory, and probably another step closer to player of the tournament for Ronalds.
She's quite well ahead in terms of the points. She's got 311 points there. Kanchan Rana is in the second position with 275. So Kanchan hasn't scored in today's game.
Yes, she was disappointed when she headed off. Here comes Ronalds again, though. Struck firmly into the leg side. A little high on the bat, so not a full amount of power into the ball, but enough for them to get through for two. As we once again try to protect some overheating equipment here in the Danish sun. It is toasty.
So that's the end of 15 overs. Sweden are 79 for 7. Need another 86 from the last 5.
I'm just trying to make sure we've got the right players out there. The Finnish uniforms with their white on yellow combination make it hard to read the numbers, but I'm fairly certain that's Yusuf out there. Yes, the next time they have their uniforms done, they can talk to the printers about making the numbers a little bit clearer for us.
Yeah, it is Yusuf out there. And Jay Surya.
Outside off and pushed into the offside. They will take off for a single. Balaji with a throw at the stumps. Just catches the edge of the Astro and it bounces up and over and is backed up very well by Ronalds. So Captain Kohli is going to continue to run in here from the football end, and there's a bit of chat out there and I'm not sure what it's about. Yusuf taking her guard, having a look around. There's only 2 fielders out on the boundary, a square leg and a mid-wicket. That boundary out there well protected. Very, very full and struck in that direction. Ronalds, though, gets down and makes a tremendous save. Diminutive player, pretty close to the ground, not too far to go. Does a really good job of getting down and covering that one. Probably saved a run there. This one, she gets a little bottom edge on, runs down to short fine leg. Fine leg up inside the ring, does well. Looks to be Kolcharam there. Putting her body on the line, diving across the turf. It's not too bad diving on this outfield. It is very well maintained. Nice and green and lush. Very, very full, big appeal. And That appeal swayed the umpire. She was certain of it, Coley. Sends Yusuf. And assured of a big matchup this afternoon against Denmark. Well, we're going to have to crunch the numbers at the break, Mole, because I think Denmark are going to have to win big in order to push their net run rate up above the Germans. How big? Well,
It's going to be a Herculean task. They need to get going.
Not just beat them, but beat them really, really well.
The margin has to be quite big.
I don't know if they can do that. The Germans have played really well throughout this tournament. They've looked a very professional side. Certainly their warm-up routines have been very good. The coaches that they have put them through their paces. There's no holding back with the German coaching staff. There's no hitting the ball softly to the fielders. The girls are expected to take hard catches in the warm-up. You can see this development of this German side and their aspirations to join those upper tiers of women's cricket. They finished last week at the World Cup qualifiers, but more importantly they were there and they were rubbing shoulders with those more powerful cricketing nations, learning as much as they possibly can, and then bringing all of that experience and match play and match fitness to this tournament. They've looked really, really good, and it looks like it's going to be Balaji to bowl now from this pavilion end. She is a dangerous weapon, but I can imagine ever so much more so against lower order batters who aren't perhaps used to her style of bowling or pace, her accuracy. She'll be looking to go under the bat for sure, as we see the fitness of the umpire tested once again as he runs out towards square leg, left-hander on strike.
So Sweden need another 83 from the last 4. It's got to be a big task.
Fired in and off the pads and into the leg side. No run there. But yes, Germany looking to compete much more readily with those nations in that next tier up, the likes of Italy and Ireland and the Netherlands. Sweden too, though. Many of the Swedish players said that their dream opposition at the moment would be the Netherlands. They'd quite like to play them. Totally understandable. Big heave-ho, looking to go down the ground, Jayasuriya. If she connected, that would have been a boundary for sure. There's no one back down here. Mid-on and mid-off and quite close. In fact, I'm just looking around to see if there's anyone back on the rope. Perhaps a fine leg. Can't quite see. Fired in again, and that's down the leg side. Anything down the leg side at this level will be wided. But no, there is no deep fine leg, so all of the German players up inside the ring. Huge pressure on these Swedish batters.
The wicketkeeper was trying to effect a stumping there because the batter seemed to be outside, but
this one outside off and stays down. I think Balaji, with her action, with that low slinging action, is occasionally getting the ball to skid off the surface rather than bounce like we've seen from so many of the other bowlers. This one just dies on its way through to the keeper. If there's something missing from this German side, I think they're an incredible batting unit. I think the fielding is really, really good. If there's something missing, it's a couple of tall, quick seamers. I think that's what they would love to have. I think that would be something that would lift this side to that next level to compete with the likes of the Netherlands, this time forced into the leg side. So it'd be interesting to see if they can unearth those sorts of players. Maybe they can grow one at home, find a former, I know I used this word yesterday, I know I said it doesn't exist, but a javelinist. It's just someone with that power.
Or even tall volleyball players.
Athlete.
Even tall volleyball players.
Yeah, volleyball players or a tennis player, someone who could adapt their game and take that overarm power, that spike or that serve, and turn it into some fast bowling for Germany. Or maybe they can reach out into the diaspora and dig one up in Australia or New Zealand or England, someone who's playing some top flight cricket somewhere and has dual nationality.
So that's the end of the 17th over, 83 for 8. Still need another 82 from the last 3. It's going to be an uphill task for the Swedes. So the question is, will they survive the 20 overs? Or will Germany wrap the Swedish innings up shortly from now?
It's going to be the left armour to charge in now from the football end. She's been a little short and into the hip today, and once again she's been helped around the corner and down to that boundary towards the nets.
Welcome boundary at this last stage.
Yeah, she's just bowled a little bit short today.
They picked up quite well there, read the ball, picked it up quite well, and dispatched that across to the boundary. No fielder there, clear open space.
No, there's quite a lot of open spaces out here. The wicket-keeper just making some adjustments. Defended now as she hones back in on the stumps. We saw a number of changes in the German side today. They do have good depth in their squad. That's just missed the off stumps, collected the wicket-keeper in the foot and run away for what I assume will be a bye. I think the wicket-keeper there, Kartika, is okay. Did look like it just caught her on the inside of the foot, but shook it off. This one down the leg side, caught up with rather well by the batter. It's spun as it's hit the turf and is being chased down now by the fielder. Should probably have come back for 3 there, but chose not to. Really was rather well clipped off the toes as they now change the field and send fine leg back. So left arm to left hand means a first slip in. It's a top edge, it's right up in the air. The keeper, Kartika, calls for it. Takes it easily. So she's in today for Stoller. Takes a good catch. Again, more gone now. perhaps that either. Could Denmark beat Germany by enough that Sweden sneak into that top spot? Or am I just playing with wishes out there in the little reference there to Peter Pan.
So this is the last wicket for Sweden coming out to bat now. Still need a 75 off the last 2 overs.
Well, this will be a good experience for the leg spinner. We saw her bowl 1 over. She had plenty of potential with the ball, certainly turned it. So I'm sure she will become more of a factor for Sweden going forward. But I doubt very much that Kashfi Kanwa has spent too much time in the middle batting during this tournament. We'll have to see how she goes as the field once again gets moved around. Swapping positions, getting the right catching hands in the right positions. There is a fine leg back, but no one else. Fired in full. She struck that straight down into the deck. Fielded by Ronalds at first slip. And people are shuffling about. So that is the end of that over.
Sweden on a 90 for 9. Needing another 75 off the last 12 balls. So
the challenge here for the lower order for these Swedish batters, the tail, to bat out these 12 balls. I always say to anyone I'm coaching is to keep the opposition on the park. Don't give it away. Keep them out there. It's the last thing they want to do. But this is a fires in the Yorker, caught on the pad. It looked like it was going down leg from line, but no, given.
sounded a little woody.
It certainly shot away. Yeah, it.
I think the bat is pointing to a toe and saying it hit my toe. Well, that's.
I thought it hit her in the heel. There's a shake of the hand from Captain Coley to the 2. It was a good shout. I don't think there's any question that it was going to collect the stumps, even if it was just the leg one. So Germany and Sweden will now shake hands. Game played in good spirits between 2 good sides, but Germany showing that extra air of professionalism that they've brought to this entire tournament. And they are now going to have some lunch and think about their task for this afternoon, which is to defeat Denmark, because once they do, they would be crowned the Nordic T20 champions for 2025. So
good day for cricket. Good game here. Germany beating Sweden by 74 runs. Just quick run through this batting scorecard for Sweden. They really didn't have so much to put on. Anya Vaidya put on 32, and Bogdanova had 11, Rana had 10. But the rest of the batting lineup didn't really click that much.
No, they're always chasing the game after Germany put a good score up. I think maybe if Sweden had been able to limit them to 130, 140, it would have been an easier chase for them. They could have tactically gone about it in a way that they were more comfortable with. But with the quality of a couple of the German seamers, and certainly the accuracy shown by their spinners. It was hard to get the ball away. And Edwards, the destroyer, once again picking up top order wickets, as she has done routinely over the last 3 weeks, whether it was in this tournament or the World Cup qualifier. So,
Pick of the bowlers for Germany: Asmita Kohli, 3 for 20 of whole 4 overs. Iris Edwards, 3 for 19, and Jared Ronalds, 2 for 17. So those 3 bowlers have between them 8 wickets. And the summary of the game: Germany winning by 74 runs. Good effort in the German batting lineup from Garcia, 50 runs there, not out. And Janet Ronalds with 45. Quite unfortunate she couldn't get across to 50, but definitely a good game that we've had today. So,
just before we go, I've had some comments, Mojo, about my hat. And some people aren't too stoked on my hat. They think it's a little bit too loud, too proud. But it's bright pink and green and shiny, and it's got the Ultimate Warrior on the front of it. I'm sure a few people have picked up on that. There's a reason I'm wearing this hat during this tournament, and it's for my sister back in New Zealand. We lost our dad this year, which was very, very sad. But I have this hat, she has this hat. And I just wanted to know that I'm thinking of her, and that's why I'm wearing this during this tournament. So any comments that you would like to make about my fashion sense, please address them to my sister. She's rather more toey than I am. She will put you in your place. But yeah, hello to her watching back down there in New Zealand.
but my condolences on your dad's passing. But it's always nice to, you know, siblings having the same sort of taste or trying to...
I don't know if there's any taste involved in this hat, but it's a nice memory. We did enjoy watching the wrestling during the 80s, and our dad certainly loved his cricket and was always a big supporter of me and my involvement in the game and the way that I played the game, and we always got to talk about it. So just thinking of him too.
But before we wind up, just an update in terms of the last 2 games to be played. So we have Sweden playing against Finland in Albertslund. That starts at 14:30 local time.
Wouldn't Finland like to upset Sweden, eh? The old foe.
And the other game that's going to be played on this ground is between Denmark and Germany. It is slated for 1600 hours local time. So that's what's lined up, and just having a look at how the points table is looking like. Let's bring that up on the screen now.
Yes, it'll be for all the candy in the jar here later on this afternoon between Germany and Denmark. Denmark would need to beat Germany by some sort of gigantic margin. We haven't done the maths on how much, but maybe we can do that in the break. I'm going to wander off to the local burger chain, get myself a burger, and try and do it on the back of a napkin, see if I can figure this one out.
But since Sweden lost here to Germany, now they have moved to 3rd position. Denmark is now in 2nd position because the net run rate has improved, or at least the net run rate for Sweden has dropped to 0.45. And Denmark has moved into 2nd position with 0.93. Germany way ahead, 3.61 net run rate. So if either Denmark or Sweden ever fancy to take top position in this tournament, they will need to win their games with huge margins. And as Jess said, we need to figure that out, and we probably will have that when we are back with the next transmission in about a couple of hours from now.
We say probably. I'm not saying that either one of us is the greatest mathematician on earth. This is one of those ones where we can dial it into ChatGPT, right? And it can do all the work for us.
Exactly.
That's the
exactly.
one.
But from the comms box, with Yes and myself, Mojo, thank you so much for joining in wherever you are in the world. It's a nice sunny day in Copenhagen, in Denmark. And we look forward to seeing you soon in a couple of hours with the last transmission that we will have. That's going to be at 1600 hours local time. Until then, have a good afternoon.